We are on. Welcome back to episode 2.7 of Lock It In, presented by All Day Media. We're back for week 7, a very electric week 6 in the NFL. We had finally some points are being scored. Clark, he's 5-1 on the season for the anytime touchdown scorer, but he sold the teaser. Nobody saw the Cardinals losing by that much. Jacobs wearing a fresh Lost in Time vintage hoodie. Shout out Ferrari. He went 12-2 on the spreads and somehow lost every single bet that he made. He also did not take Romeo Doubs to score a touchdown, but we're going to be back for week 7. I went 4-0 last week, and the Bengals were locked, but Joe Burrow did not score or throw for 2 touchdown passes. Nonetheless, we are on to week 7. Boys, what did we learn from week 6?
FanDuel's predatory. Call the number. But
yes, it is.
Yeah, I need to stop making stupid parlays. I think most favorites ever covering since I've started betting on NFLs.
I did hear that stat being thrown around.
That kind of and of course the 1 week Vegas got killed. So that scares me a little bit going into week 7 here, but something to keep in mind.
I learned to not let my emotions get the best of me. I was hating on the Browns so much that I forgot the Eagles aren't that good. So, got to keep your emotions in check.
Yeah, the Eagles are really not good. We will get into that later on. I've got a couple of spicy takes about that. Nick Sirianni, he is a doofus. But we're on to week 7. We're on to bigger and better things. Cobbs, what do you love this week?
Yeah, so we're going to take an underdog. I love the Bucks plus 3.5 at home against the Ravens. This game should be awesome to watch. These are both top 5 offenses and struggling defenses. The Ravens in particular struggling against the pass, are 31st in the league. They've struggled a lot on the road, giving up nearly 400 yards passing their last 2 games on the road. So Baker, he leads the league in touchdowns right now. Is a really dynamic receiving core in Evans and Godwin. I think they have a really good chance to win this game outright, but getting more than a field goal at home for a team putting up that many points, it's hard to stay away from this one.
It is at home. The Bucks look awesome. The Ravens look real good. But yeah, I mean, 3.5 points for the Bucks. I don't hate it.
Baker's on pace for 42 touchdowns right now. I mean, they're a lot of fun to watch. Baker Mayfield, competitor. I'm going to stick with the underdog theme here. I'm loving the Chiefs plus 1.5 at San Francisco this week. Mahomes historically owns Kyle Shanahan's 49ers. He's 3-0, including 2 on the biggest stage, the Super Bowl. Andy Reid's record after the bye week is absurd. They were just on bye last week, and I'm pretty sure Andy Reid's 28-4 or something like that after the bye week. Chiefs defense is top 5 against the run. Jordan Mason has a sprained AC joint. 49ers pass catchers are all healthy, but their kicker situation's a little suspect. They got a backup right now on Matt Wright, who has a hurt shoulder. And in games against the Chiefs, it's all going to come down to who's making kicks. And I'm just pulling for Patrick Mahomes to pull out some voodoo magic and probably win this game outright, if not lose by 1 point. And here's the bonus. I haven't picked a spread correctly at all on the show in the past couple of weeks. So if I'm wrong here, the Chiefs also lose, and that'll make everyone happy.
That's a win. Hopefully Clark jinxes the Cheeks.
Do not jinx the Cheeks, dude. That's not cool.
No, not for Cobbs. That's fucked up, dude.
No, we can't. Hopefully Clark jinxes the Chiefs. And if he doesn't, then he wins a bet or wins a spread. Clark loves the Chiefs minus 1.5. I love the Browns plus 6.5. And you might say to yourself, why would you love the Browns? They suck. You're right. They're begging you to take the Bengals this week. Joe Burrow is 1-5 in his career against the Browns. And it is in Cleveland. Last week, Vegas, they had probably the worst week ever, like since gambling's been legal in these recent, 5-10 years, whatever it is. Worst week ever, allegedly. And the favorites, they just covered. It was a covering machine last week. So you take the Browns plus 6.5. in a spot where they didn't look that bad last week against the Eagles. And the Bengals just come off, a decent win, barely covered against the Giants on Monday night. So take the Browns plus 6.5.
I agree. The thing I like the most about that is it is begging you to take the Bengals, because I looked at that and I was like, damn, the Bengals feels really easy. And that is why I'm staying away. Good fade yourself spot. So where I'm not going to fade myself, and I am going to take the easy bet, is I'm going to lock in the Rams minus 7 at home against the Raiders. Obviously, we all saw the Devontae Adams news today. For everyone who doesn't know, we record on Tuesdays. So if we're wrong about something, we're not dumb. We're just early. McVay off the bye. He does not have quite the record that Andy Reid does, but he's 4-3 outright. I think the Raiders just don't know what they're doing. They're switching quarterbacks. They got a coach that might be on the hot seat already in year 1. it's kind of just a disaster there. The Rams are 1-4, but they're not too far behind in their division with the leaders at 3-3 and the Seahawks and the 49ers. So they're in a must-win spot to stay alive. Their season's not dead. They're playing against a team whose season, frankly, kind of seems dead at this point, trading away a player like Devontae. They're going to win by a touchdown, at least. They'll win by 10. Give me the Rams.
Couldn't agree more. Devontae Adams all out of Vegas. Rams off a bye. It's just a touchdown. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, well, they have Brock Bowers and Trey Tucker to throw to. That's pretty much all that's left. They're not going to be able to lean on Zamir White. I like that a lot. We're going back to the well on this one. I just can't stay away from these Panthers overs. I'm locking in the Panthers and Commanders over 51.5. Benjamin Franklin once said there are two certainties in life, death and taxes. The third is Panthers over. All right. I mean, the Panthers defense is just historically bad, but they can put up points against subpar defenses like the Commanders. The Commanders are giving up so many passing yards. They really can't stop the run all that well. Pretty sure they just lost Jonathan Allen for the season. This total has been hit in every single Panthers game except for their games against the Chargers and Bears, who are two top 10 defensive units. Commanders going to put up points against this team. They're fun to watch. I see this total getting.
The conviction in which you said death, taxes, and Panthers overs, I mean, that's incredible, but you're not wrong. Like, crazy enough.
Yeah, I'm putting a Ben Franklin on that. The Panthers, Derek Brownless defense, we say this every week, but it's abysmal. I mean, Tyler Algier just cooked them for 100 yards and a touchdown, and then Bijan also scored 2 touchdowns.
Death, taxes, and Andy Dalton putting up points or throwing pick sixes. So Clark is locking in the over for the Commanders-Panthers game, and I'm locking in the Giants +3. Saquon Barkley going back to MetLife for the first time since he got traded away. We alluded to it earlier in the episode. Nick Sirianni is an idiot. I would hate that guy as my head coach. He's the worst of all time. He's the WOT. And the Giants defense showed up on Monday night. They lost a close one. This one's not in prime time. Danny Dimes is 1-14, I think, on prime time. This is 1 o'clock on Sunday. And they got some decent weapons. Eagles don't look great. Give me the Giants +3. Divisional matchup. Keep it close.
So you're saying Sirianni's not going to be doing that thing where he nods his head at the camera, like from the playoff game?
Yeah, he won't be doing that. I mean, he looks terrible with his buzz cut. Like, that would change anything. Yeah, dude, you beat the Browns in Philly and you yelled at your fans for booing you for being an idiot and for looking like a dumbass. I hate Nick Sirianni, and I also hate the Eagles because Jalen Hurts he takes away from Saquon Barkley scoring a touchdown too many times when I have Saquon Barkley to score a touchdown. We're taking the Giants +3.
Yeah, Hurd said that the shaving of the head is a sign of a breakup being imminent. He said he's acting out of control.
Oh, the Hurd?
Coward. Yeah, Coward said he's acting out of control. He's arguing with the fans. He's shaving his head. A breakup is coming.
Yeah, Big Cat said he thinks he's legitimately having a mental breakdown. He's like, this is like Britney Spears, like what you do before you like lose your shit.
You can tell he's scared too because he dragged his toddler up to the podium as a meat shield. Meat shield 2 weeks in a row.
Meat shield, bang.
Yeah. But no one's going to yell at him when his kids there.
Meat shield of the week.
Okay, new segment, Meat Shield of the week. Nick Sirianni's toddler.
Meat shield or meat shielder? Yeah, jeez. You get put on a list.
It's true though. It's true. Okay, so we're getting a little silly. We're getting a little off track. It's time to lock back in. It's time to get propalicious. We're going to go with our anytime touchdown score for the week. Clark, you are 5-1 on the season. We should keep it as it is. We're not going to switch in orders, but Cobbs, talk to us about last week, who you almost took maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to take Romeo Doubs, and I got talked out of it, and I got too crazy. I took Roshan Johnson. But I'm going to stay crazy. I'm going to take Ladd McConkey because the Chargers are playing the Cardinals, and the Cardinals' pass defense looked abysmal last week. They allowed 4 passing touchdowns against the Packers. The week before that, they allowed the only decent game that Brandon Ayuk had all year. He actually went for 150 on them, and he's been a ghost the rest of the season. They allow passing. They specifically allow passing to top targets. Ladd McConkey is virtually the only target in L.A., except for, I guess, Kamani Vidal after last week. But he had 8 targets last week. He went down on the 1-yard line twice very early in the game. I think he finds his way into the end zone this week against the Cardinals in what's probably going to be the Monday night game you are not watching. Also, why the fuck is the NFL doing 2 Monday night games in Week 7? It's ridiculous.
No, dude, you missed it. It's exclusively on ESPN Plus.
Oh, wow. Okay,
that
great.
makes sense. Yeah.
Now I get to start a new trial that I'm going to forget to cancel.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I do think Ladd McConkey gets in gets into the end zone this week, he is probably the best target on that team.
Yep, love it. I'm riding with a guy who's hot right now in Chris Godwin. Moving around the formation's been working. Putting him in the slot, he's been getting open. Playing the Ravens this week, Marlon Humphrey's probably going to be keyed in on Mike Evans. Chris Godwin should stay open. This game has the 4th highest total this week. Bucks are going to have to score to keep up with the Ravens. I know Jacobs likes them to win outright, but I'm not really sure I can hitch my wagon to that. I see Godwin getting in the end zone against the team giving up the 2nd highest passing yards per game.
That's fair enough. And we're going to touch that game a little bit more later on. So I love that. Godwin scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, him and Evans each have 5 apiece this year. So Marlon Humphrey is going to be tied up with his dumb fucking Instagram lives as opposed to covering either of them. So I think they both score, to be honest.
Lad McConkey for Cobbs, Chris Godwin for Clark, and I'm going to go with another wide receiver. We're going with DK Metcalf. He should have scored 2 touchdowns last week against the 49ers. One was he was out of bounds by a toe, and the other one got called back because of an illegal formation. But he's going to score this week. He's just due, and this is going to be a high-scoring game, I think, with the Seahawks playing the Falcons.
Yeah. First of all, you weren't going to beat me in fantasy anyway, but I do like the pick. So, DK.
Yep. All right. We got Propalicious. And now it's time to get immaculate. Shout out Cerna for the immaculate teaser this time around. Somehow we lost last week. I don't know how. This is supposed to be immaculate. So this time we're going to make it immaculate. We're going to make it cash. We're going to make it hit. We're going to make it bang. Cobbs, kick us off with the immaculate teaser, will you?
Yeah, this one's brought to you by Austin Cerna. So if it doesn't hit, I'll give you his address and social security number. But I'm going to tease the over in the Lions-Vikings. You could buy it down to 43.5. We haven't talked about this yet, but obviously just like the worst news of the week out of the entire league. The Hutch injury, it was disgusting, whether you hate him, love him. Hate to see that from a guy that was having a breakout season, just a good guy for the league. So that's a big loss to the Lions defense. They're not going to be able to bring the pressure. They're probably not going to be able to man cover as efficiently as they were. They might have to actually completely change the scheme to more zone. Either way, much less pressure against a very lethal receiving core with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. So I think the Vikings are definitely going to be able to, put up at least 20 points. Come on. And the Lions themselves are averaging more than this over their last 2 games themselves. So their defense isn't going to be as sharp. They're going to need to keep up. They're already scoring more than enough points to hit this. I think this is a very low number for a teaser.
God, dude, I wouldn't even tease that. This is going to be a shootout. This is going to have to be just a nuclear freaking whale missile play.
Too, in a dome. Goff in a dome.
God.
Oh, God.
The last 2 weeks, I mean, he's just gone nuclear.
I mean, talk about immaculate. I'm not even gassing up the immaculate teaser. That's actually a fucking lock. I'm sorry. Good shit, Cobbs. Good shit.
Yeah, love it. I'm sticking with the theme. We're teasing the over in the Texans-Packers game. Even without Nico Collins, the Texans are still rolling offensively. Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon look like the 24 again. The Packers burned me last week against the Cardinals. I wasn't expecting Marvin Harrison to get hit and then get up and stumble around like Joe Biden at a press conference. Jordan Love is making good decisions, and when he does, this offense looks nearly unstoppable. The Texans' pass rush is leading the league in pressure rate, but they just allowed 21 points to the Pats. You can say it's garbage time. But, I mean, this is a way better offense, and I see both these teams putting up points in a shootout.
Love that. I love that, too. We got 3 teams in the NFC North taking the over. And, this is kind of starting to sound a little too good to be true, but I'm going to put the over in the Ravens and the Buccaneers in the immaculate teaser. You get it down to 42.5. We've got 3 overs for the first time ever in the immaculate teaser. The Bucks are averaging 29.7 points per game, and the Ravens are averaging 29.5 points per game. Derrick Henry is back. I don't know what Tractor Cito season means, but I think it is Tractor Cito season for Derrick Henry. And the Bucks receiving core is dynamic. The Ravens put up a lot of points. It's 42.5. Tease the over.
Yeah, points. Rooting for points is fun. See, even if we lose this teaser, we're going to have fun.
You're going to have a good time. It's just a little scary because last week was so hot with the overs, with the points, and with the touchdowns. I think we're wanting more. We're wanting points. Yeah, PFT calls it Tractor Cito season when Derrick Henry goes off. I don't know if you guys knew what that meant.
I thought that was just Vito's team name. But also, sabermetric-ish hot take. Everyone was bitching up a storm about the primetime Sunday night and Monday night games this past week. A lot of penalties, a lot of just shitty football to watch. The NFL is going to tell them to lay off some of these calls,
Mm,
incentivize the points, up the ratings, get more positive reactions in the Twitter sphere or the X sphere, if you will. I
Dude,
think it's
fuck.
a points week. I think it's a points week.
Forget the immaculate teaser. Let's just take the grand salami and the over in the entire NFL. Let's just parlay every over and every underdog, because last week was the favorites. We're taking all the underdogs except for the Rams, right, Cobbs? We have a lot of underdogs on the board this week. We have a lot of overs on the board this week. And I think that makes for an excellent week 7, episode 2.7 of Lock It In. We loved it. We locked it in. We got Propalicious, and we need a lot of points this week for the immaculate teaser.
Yeah. It's the over teaser now.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't hate it. There were a bunch of, but the slate had so many over like high totals. So I mean, you tease them down. I think we'll be fine.
That does it for a great episode 2.7. We'll be back next week for 2.8. Lock it in.